360 live here on TV3. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
I am Noble Crosby Annan, and these are the headlines of the bulletin tonight.
News360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
Tributes pouring for industrialists, innovator and philanthropist Apostle Dr. Engineer Kojo Safo was died aged 77.
Ghana Armed Forces intensify border security with community sensitization campaign, urgent vigilance and reporting of suspicious activity to prevent extremist infiltration in northern areas.
We will be in Amman PM in the eastern region where onion farmers are struggling with crushing prices and no buyers, leaving tons of produce going waste.
Also tonight, we'll take you to Galosota in the Volta region where we explore the area's untapped tourism potential.
And on the foreign front, World Health Organization on Sunday begins vaccinating frontline health workers and contacts of people infected with Ebola virus in the Democratic Republic of Congo's Kasai province. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, all across the world on 3news.com.
Let's begin the bulletin on a rather sad note, as he was not only a man of God, but also an innovator, industrialist, agriculturalist, and a philanthropist. His life revolved around serving his country and the less privileged. Millions of Ghanaians around the world, they are mourning the loss of Apostle Engineer Kojo Safo Kantanka, who was died at the age of 77.
A statement from the Safo family and the Christian Safo Church said Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo died on Thursday, September 11, 2025. The family described him as a true genius, a beacon of hope for many, and a father to the fatherless. The statement, signed by his daughter and former MP for Dome Kwabenya, Sarah Adjoa Safo, noted that funeral arrangements would be announced in due course. Apostle Safo was known for advancing indigenous innovation through his Kantanka brand. He founded the Christo Safo mission in 1969, and in 1971, the mission became an African-initiated church, later expanding into manufacturing electronics, agricultural tools, and automobiles. Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo was a trailblazer in Ghana's industrial and technological space, nicknamed the Star of Africa. He founded the great Corsa network of companies and was the chairman of the Kantanka Group of Companies. His church operates large farms, growing a variety of crops which, when harvested, are donated to hospitals, schools, and other institutions. Meanwhile, tributes have been pouring in for the late Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said he served Ghana beyond the capacity of religious leader. The movement for change, in a statement signed by spokesperson Solomon Wusu, said that through his forthright leadership and generous philanthropy, Apostle Safo transformed countless lives and lifted many out of poverty. His family has meanwhile appealed to the public to respect the privacy of the family during this period of mourning.
Well, let's get to know more about the legacy of the man as we're joined by Reverend Dr. Kpone, Chief Executive Officer of the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa and former General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana. Reverend, thank you for joining us. Good evening to you. A man of God who trained thousands with unplayable skills. How important is that to the body of Christ?
Thank you, Noble, for the opportunity. And let me say that the demise of Apostle Safo is a blow to Christianity in this country. He sent Christian leadership into a more holistic dimension. A man of God But he was like you said earlier on in this story, he was into agriculture. He was into engineering. He was into philanthropy. And then he had a very strong philosophy for Ghanaians and Africa, that we must build our confidence as a people, that whatever Obroni has been able to do, a white person has done, will be needed to me, and yet black person can do that. And that, I think he lived his dream. He was passionate about the fact that we must build the African self-confidence. He has played a unique role. He's already being studied in Christian theological seminaries and other academic circles. But I strongly believe we have a long way to go to understand the real, we call it theology and philosophy of Apostle Safo. And I'm saying that our love and prayers are with his church and his family. His legacy definitely will live on.
He was a man of God who blended his work as a man of God, combined it with other activities. You spoke about how important agriculture was to him, how he was innovating and being a philanthropist as well. Do we still see a lot of that happening in the body of Christ at the moment?
No. Now, that is why I said already he's being studied, but I'm not sure we have exhausted the theology in terms of academic work. You know, for now, for many of servants of the gospel, pastors, heads of churches, anointing and ministry is for those, the ordained, who are in the pulpit. You know, when you hear people say, touch not my anointed, it means ordained ministers. But in the Bible, many people were highly anointed, but they were very skillful. They were into engineering. They were into public administration. They were into project management. Nehemiah and many more were not pastors highly anointed casting out demons, but they were into strategic planning, monitoring, and that is what you see in Apostle Safo, a pastor, a man of God, but his anointing was penetrating other dimensions of society, agriculture, social support, giving food to homes, children, homes, and hospitals and prisons. And then he jumped into engineering. Initially, some people were thinking it's a joke, whether you call it re-engineering or whatever. He started producing cars and solid cars on our roads and even to some African countries. So we need to understand him in terms of contemporary Christian ministry, because for many of our pastors, if you are highly anointed, you must cast out demons, you must prophesy, you must heal the sick and deliver the oppressed. Great. I'm not by that distancing myself from that. But then you have Apostle Safo, who will also say anointing means going to agriculture, food security. Anointing means going to engineering, creating work, creating jobs. And we need to explore more. And that is why earlier on I said his legacy definitely will live on.
Reverend, thank you. Thank you so much. Reverend Dr. Kpone from Kpone, the Chief Executive Officer of the Alliance for Christian Advocacy African, former General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, speaking with us there.
Let's now move on to agriculture. It is peak onion harvest season in Amanfrom and PM in the eastern region, but instead of profits, onion farmers are staring at what is likely to be losses. As prices crash and demand dries up, tons of onions risk rotting away in the fields. Eastern regional correspondent Yvonne Nikwe reports on a crisis growing as fast as the crops.
Last year, this bag of onion cost 1,500 Ghana cedis, but this year it's going for 600 cedis, a shortfall of over 900 cedis, a loss to the onion farmers here at Kpone Mpem Amanfrom in the Kpone South municipality.
For years, onion farming has been the lifeblood of Amanfrom Mpem residents in the Kpone South municipality. Since settling here, From the Akosombo Dam area, generations of farmers have worked these fields, supporting families and employing hundreds of local farm hands. But this season, hope is turning into heartbreak. Farmers here are now staring at potential devastating losses. A bag of onions that sold for 1,000 cedis last season now goes for as little as 600 cedis, and even that, buyers are scarce. With prices plummeting and demand sharply down, large quantities of onions may rot in farms. There are no storage places. Farmers say they are already losing money every day. They blame the situation partly on the influx of cheaper onion imports from neighboring countries, which they say are flooding the market and undercutting local produce. They are calling on the government to intervene urgently.
It is not the best. This is a terrible season for us. We have worked hard this year, but the market women tells us that the loads of truck of onions from neighboring countries such as Nigeria and Niger is what is causing them not to buy our own. Beyond pricing, the farmers are also grappling with other long-standing challenges. Without electricity, many depend on expensive diesel-powered irrigation. Government needs to intervene in the form of electricity. We'll be able to work and have return on investment. Imagine buying 10 drums of diesel for irrigation, and at the end of the day, you do not have people buying. That is a huge debt to us. Poor roads make transporting their harvest to market even harder. Our roads are bad. Because of that, the market women who travel here do not price our onion bags well. The ripple effect has been felt across the onion value chain, from farm hands to transporters and market sellers.
Because oxygen no bag na say 10 cedis na obeji na okoko drudwem na yento
During peak seasons, we can sow a bag of onion between 10 cedi to 20 cedis, and then sow as much as 20 bags of onion. But now, we can only sow just a few for a day.
Also, at the end of the day, no benyabi. But the man didn't honey be a day we share 10, say 7 cedis. Also, we bibia.
I come all the way from Wale Wale. I'm paid on commission basis. If I work for less, I cannot get enough to feed my family back home.
Because
of the exchange rate value between the Ghana cedi and the Naira of the Nigerians, the market women prefer buying from the Nigerians because they get more profit from that. As onions lie unsold in the fields of Amman from Impime, the farmers' message is clear. They don't want handouts, they want fair conditions to survive. I have 25 acres of land, but the demands are not coming. This is because the onions from neighboring countries are on our markets. The market women are not buying from us. If this happens, I cannot pay back the loan I took from the bank.
And they are at the end of their best. So this is the time for government to come in.
Government's 24-hour economy project. This place is ripe. It's ready. They don't even have to do much.
Sustainable Development Goal 2 urges government to support sustainable agriculture and ensure fair access to land, technology, and markets.
On the average, between 60 and 80 bags of onions are harvested on an acre of land. Here at Kpone, Amman from Over 1,500 acres of land are used in cultivating the onions. 1,200 farmhands are engaged to work here. But if the demands get low continuously, people might not get direct labor or work to do. It means unemployment crisis would occur here. But if government is seeking to invest in agriculture, especially under its growth policy for the 24-hour economy, this area is one of such investment it should be looking out for.
And while farmers battle some challenges, let's talk security. In a move to tighten security along Ghana's northern border, the Ghana Armed Forces is undertaking a community sensitization campaign, urging residents to remain vigilant and report suspicious activity. This initiative is part of intensified efforts to keep extremist elements at bay and ensure that no loophole is left for infiltration. Vice Regional Correspondent Castro Sengala was on ground and has come through with this report.
At the foot of the Widnaba mountain range, soldiers from the 11th Mechanized Battalion of the Ghana Armed Forces are on foot patrols, showing force and readiness to respond to violent threats. Led by Lieutenant Colonel Kakra Saswentwi, these men have been on long-range patrols across the Upper East and Northeast regions for months, guarding Ghana's northern borders against violent threats. This time, their mission goes beyond defense. They are engaging border communities, raising awareness, and calling for local support in the fight against cross-border crimes.
We are from the Ghana Armed Forces, so our High Command in Northern Command in Tamale has sent us here to come and have this interaction with you. I'm sure you are all aware of what is happening in our neighboring Burkina Faso. The people who are disturbing them there, the people who are carrying weapons and attacking people there, they can come in and go out of Ghana. So we are here to assure you that we are here to protect you. We are here to ensure that what is happening across the border will not happen here.
In Widnaba, a community in the Boku West district with over 5,000 residents, several unapproved routes linked directly to Burkina Faso, making illegal movement a growing threat.
We wish to see more of them coming, and we want to see much of their attention on this community as we are a border to them. We don't know when and how they will enter here, and we will be happy if they can keep this to check on us.
We were doing things that we didn't know, and the Burkina people, they were coming in and out every day, in and out, doing something that will not make the Ghana happy. But today, anything we see, we have to say it.
The sustained patrols by the Ghana Armed Forces is all part of Operation Conquered Fist, the anti-terrorism efforts to safeguard Ghana's borders with Burkina Faso and Togo. At Sapelega, another frontline community, the army is seeking the help of traditional leaders to echo the national security mantra, see something, say something, among residents.
We have been sent by higher command to ensure and to do the work that we are supposed to do, ensure that our borders are safe. We have come to touch base with the community. We have come to interact with the people and to say that if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. Even if you feel something, do something. For our work to be successful, we need the cooperation and the support of the community.
Naba, Alasbudi, Abangaba, Ayagaba, the Sapelega chief, commended the army's efforts, but raised concerns about activities of Burkinabe border residents that could threaten local peace. My people sent their livestock to graze, and they were beaten by the Burkinabe locals from the other side of the border. My people didn't cross the border. They were only walking on the path. The cattle were 38 in number, and the sheep were 22. When I complained to the chief of that community, nothing was done about it. The Army's sensitization drive leaves no stone unturned, working with communities to ensure peace and push back against the threats of terrorism. Reporting from Sapeliga in Boku West, Castro Sinyala, TV3 News.
Meanwhile, Vice President Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman has underscored the critical link between maritime security and Ghana's national security and sovereignty. Speaking at the 35th Ghana Navy Memorial Day celebration at Sekondi in the Western region, she commended the Navy for its role in maintaining a safe maritime domain despite persistent security threats in the Gulf of Guinea.
A solemn memorial service was held at the Sekondi Naval Base on Sunday, September 14, to honor Ghana Navy personnel who died in the line of duty. The ceremony paid special tribute to the victims of two tragic events, the shelling of the GNS Ugaga during the Liberian War 35 years ago, and the murder of personnel at the base in 1982. It also remembered all naval personnel lost in peacekeeping missions worldwide. In his address, the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Godwin Livinus Besson, stated that a grateful nation and its armed forces will never forget their fallen heroes and will honor them with continued prayers.
As Abraham Lincoln also warned, quote, "A nation that does not honor its heroes will not long endure." In line with this, and drawing from the solemn celebration of the Ghana Navy, the Military High Command has constituted a committee to set up modalities for a wider Ghana Armed Forces Remembrance Day in honor of our personnel who paid the ultimate price in the line of duty.
After laying a wreath to honor the fallen soldiers, Vice President Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman commended the Navy for its role in maintaining a safe maritime domain despite persistent security threats throughout the Gulf of Guinea. She underscored the critical link between maritime security and Ghana's national security and sovereignty, stressing that a robust maritime security framework is essential for protecting the nation's interests.
This occasion, while solemn, is also an opportunity to commend our servicemen and women. As a coastal nation, the preservation of Ghana's security and sovereignty is incomplete without maritime security. Although the Gulf of Guinea faces various security threats, our maritime domain remains relatively safe. We owe the security to the Ghana Navy.
The 35th Ghana Navy Memorial Day celebration was held under the theme Sacrifice, Service and Sovereignty, the Legacy of the Ghana Navy. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Sekondi.
And now from security, let's talk some tourism, because the Volta region is regarded one of the best tourist destinations in the country, with a variety of tourist attractions. But hidden in the region are several potential tourist sites that have not been developed. Tonight, we throw the spotlight on Galosota, a community in the region identified as a place with enormous tourism opportunities left untapped.
Galosota is a community dominated by fisher folk and farmers, with its boundaries stretching across the Angloga and Saftong districts. The community, a place of beauty, is nestled in the mangroves along the Keta estuary, serving as a habitat for a variety of aquatic species suitable for ecotourism, yet left untapped. We had animals in the area that have now gone into extinction. We hardly see them around because of human activities. A time will come, our children will not even know some of these animals. It is the reason I keep some of them when I find them. But I don't have enough money to take care of them, except the crocodiles. So I have freed a number of animals back to the bush.
We have a lot of tourist attractions that we need to develop. We have the Avulankun, where we have the Sinta Tunga They are there, but due to human activities, they are in a hideout. We have the monkeys developing in our territories, but we as locals, we don't see the value of these things, so we don't value them, we don't visit, and it's because they are underdeveloped.
Renowned surgeon and poet Professor Lade Wosonu, a native, believes any form of investment aimed at developing the tourism potentials of the community will yield an unimaginable returns.
We should develop all that we need, all that we have. And so that if at the same time we can make it attractive for the tourists to be very beautiful, I want to emphasize that this place is a place of recovery. What I can say is that the investment they bring here would not be lost.
As part of a move aimed at driving investment into Ghana's tourism industry, Galosota is now earmarked for investment under the Ghana Tourism Investment Platform.
This place gives a lot more to domestic tourism, especially kinds of things that you don't know in the other regions. I mean, when you come here, you can see. And we, as a government agency, would also put in our best foot to call for investors to the place, local investors, international investors. And that's why we're here. We want to capture the true nature of tourism from the community-based perspective, and then make sure that we can market it internationally.
In 2024, the Ghana Tourism Authority announced a record high revenue of $4.8 billion generated from the sector. Developing a lot more tourist attraction sites will potentially bring more revenue. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV News.
And now, the quest for clean water in Kpone, the Kpone municipality of the Greater Accra region, has become a daily struggle for survival. Stanley Niblo reports that the worsening crisis is crippling households, businesses and livelihoods, leaving residents frustrated and desperate for urgent government intervention.
Water, one of the basic necessities of life, has become the most sought-after commodity in Kpone, in the Kpone municipality. For years, the situation has persisted, but was judiciously managed as water was intermittently supplied to homes by the Ghana Water Company Limited. However, the rapid growth of the municipality's population, coupled with the establishment of factories, has worsened the crisis. In most homes, such as this one, pipes have not flowed for years. Residents say streams and other water sources they mostly relied on when the water supply from Ghana Water Company Limited was cut are now polluted, limiting residents to water tanker services. The situation is eating deep into the pocket of residents as water vendors have capitalized on it to sell at exorbitant prices. For instance, a water dispenser container is sold for 3 cedis 50 pesos, while the yellow gallon ranges between 5 and 7 cedis.
Each, but go a gallon, 3 cedis 50 pesos. Each, I know go a 6 cedis.
Imagine a family of 7. How much are you buying to wash, cook, clean, and bath with? It is not safe at all. It is very appalling, and it needs to stop. Something must be done immediately to solve this issue.
Operators of beauty salons are incurring losses due to the challenges presented by the crisis.
Apart from money, but I work at gallons can be a passion. You don't know about depend any ubana no way.
Misika won suora ho ayako buki ye de sika akodi lai said ye be ya nsuo ni ba yakotu ya ato ho dada na chese ye benya bi so ame no wo kasai ye nya bi.
For most water vendors, uninterrupted water supply by Ghana Water Company Limited will give respite to residents. Yaro explained that he buys water for 480 cedis and supplies it to vendors for 1,300 cedis, citing long distances and rising water prices as factors behind the current charges.
So no asem dey ajim sem. E do asem dey ajim sem. And why ye din ama ye yankasa ye supply so no kwa yenya.
The water situation in Kpone present a very uncomfortable reality to consumers. The crisis has been politicized over the years. In the lead up to the 2024 general elections, the Kpone water situation featured prominently in campaign promises of the two major political parties. Residents want urgent action to remedy the situation.
About 20-25 years ago, we had water. But when they started constructing the companies, it's industrial and their demand of water is higher. So everybody has to tap on the same line. Everybody has to tap on the same line. But nobody is trying to help in this, that, okay, if the town doesn't have water, let us see how best we can solve it once we've tapped on their main line so that they will also have water. Or let us get our separate line so that the town will also have their separate line to have their water.
Target 6.1 of the Sustainable Development Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, aims to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all by 2030. Until concrete steps are taken to expand water infrastructure and ensure reliable distribution, the people of Kpone will continue to live at the mercy of vendors and polluted streams. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News, Accra.
You're watching News 360. We're also live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Why are more and more professionals choosing flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love flamingo paint because with this small paint, I paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo Paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo Paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo Paint, simply superior.
Come on, let's go.
Darling natural twists blend with her hair over time.
Yeah, that's perfect.
She's really more beautiful every week. Darling natural twists get better every day, just like you.
Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste,
Major roads have been draped in red and black clothes. Large and colorful billboards of the late Queen Mother have also been erected at vantage points across the city, providing information about the funeral, which is scheduled to take place from September 14 to September 18, 2025. The Menchia Palace, which will host hundreds of mourners, has been decorated for the solemn occasion. Nana Kunedu Yadom III will be buried with full traditional rites at the Bremine Royal Mausoleum, Bamu, on September 18, 2025. Former Minister for Chieftaincy and Culture under the erstwhile John Ejikun Kufuor administration, Samson Boafo, described Asante culture and customs as very unique.
Sometime 2-3 years before, they performed the funeral rites and others. But recently, Otumfuo has amended. That's what I stand to be corrected. He's giving directives that within 40 days, the funeral rites and everything must be done so that the new successor will be selected or appointed. It's amazing. It's a revolution. And everybody has complied with it.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive, Ofori Ajiman Buedi, says the assembly is ready for the big event.
Whatever we had to do by way of getting the city to be in shape and in readiness for this 4 or 5 day event has been done. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been embarking on a series of cleanup exercises over weekends.
And now, more than 8,000 Ghanaians who fled the Gbiniri conflict to neighboring Ivory Coast have begun to return home. This follows days of peace within the conflict area of the Sola to Nakalba district in the Savannah region. Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who visited the displaced Ghanaians, revealed 5,309 continue to remain in camps inside Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso. He disclosed to the displaced at the campsite of Okoro that it is safe for them to return. Marina Egbeta is there for us. Marina, good evening to you. If you can hear me, what more has the minister been saying?
Ayisha, thank you. And so the minister has been first off apologizing to the people, some of which are Bankoro, but we know that they are in different settlements. But he's been apologizing essentially about the discomforts they had to go through as a result of the conflict, having to leave the comfort of their homes to settlement sites. Sometimes at some point in time when they arrive, no food, no water. And so he conveyed the apology of the president and then the government to them and stated that efforts are fast underway to help them be able to return. Amongst many other things, he donated some 6 million CFA francs to them as well, to the mission team in Ivory Coast who have been facilitating along with the Ivorian counterpart a lot of support to them, amongst many other things, to help have them return. Then he moved to the critical subject of the return because we know what the situation has been, which has forced in excess of 13,000 Ghanaians to flee the country, amongst many other things. He says that security deployments have been made. The government has also set up a committee which is currently going through the process of mediation and reconciliation as well to enable them return home. When he arrived, the briefing he's received is that in excess of 8,000 individuals out of the 13,000 have returned home and are yet to return to these settlement sites. And so it is safe for them to return, but they are taking all the necessary steps to ensure that they can return and return to their respective homes and to their respective trades. We know a lot of them are farmers. They are getting close to the farming season as well, and the harvest season, I should say. And so all of those arrangements are being made to ensure that they can return. We can take a listen to the minister just briefly when he provided these assurances to the refugees that they so become called a short while ago at Okoro.
Right.
The security services, President Mahama has asked me to convey his deepest appreciation for the professionalism with which they have attended upon this situation, making sure that they fend off those who wanted to cause further harm, protecting those who run here for refuge, taking good care of you. I've heard about the extra effort in making sure there is amenities, water, electricity. The security services have really done a good job, and President Mahama says that I should thank you specially for all the good work that you have done since this conflict. Thank my own staff, the officials at the embassy in Côte d'Ivoire, the Ghana embassy in Côte d'Ivoire, led by our chargée d'affaires, Madame Hilaria, and her team. They have been on the ground, making sure they are coordinating, filing reports to my office and keeping me abreast, which has also helped me to report adequately to President Mahama. So President Mahama has asked that I also thank our foreign service officials, our research department officials, and all of you who are helping right in the regional minister's office, our DCs, our assemblymen.
Marina, have you also been able to speak to any of the residents? Are they willing to return home? What have they been telling you?
Right, so we've interacted with the residents, and for a lot of them, there's a bit of a difficulty to return because they say that the assurances of security deployment, amongst many other things, what they know is that these are in the townships and not in their villages where a lot of the attacks have been witnessed. In fact, a number of them I spoke to say that they had to return at some point because they had to bring their ward to some clinics in and around here in Ghana. And when she made her way back home, her home had been ransacked and the place had been destroyed. And so there was nothing she could return to in terms.
Marina will definitely bring us more updates subsequently. He's our man on the beats, bringing us up to date on all that is happening after that conflict in Binyiri.
Let's cross over to my colleague George Kpone, who is joining us from the Taifa family house of the late apostle Dr. Kojo Safo Kantanka. George, good evening to you. Tell us, where are you exactly and what is happening there? We're trying to reconnect with my colleague George Kpone, who will bring us update on the happenings in the Taifa community entirely, as well as the family house of the late Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo Kantanka. But we'll do that after this break. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the program. Let's get back to my colleague George Kpone, who's joining us from the Taifa family house of the late Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo Kantanka. George, if you can hear me, good evening again. Talk to us about the mood there.
A very good evening, and we're coming to you live from Taifa, and this, of course, is the official residence of Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo Kantanka, and this is the scene here. The road has been barricaded. You can see a lot of people gathered here, especially church members of Mr. Safo. I just want to give you a fair picture of how the inside looks like, but I think it's not possible. But I tried connecting with some of the people here, but everyone is tight-lipped. They don't want to say a word. Clearly, this is a big blow, and this very Christian formation was founded in 1969. So most of the people here are members of the church. And Kojo Safo died at the age of 77 years, and he was a philanthropist. He was an inventor. He was an industrialist. You just name it. And we've been told that he even had a farm where harvest were donated to the orphanage. And so let's come forward a bit. Let me a scene of how the place looks like. So this place has been barricaded, like I mentioned early on, and people here are members of the Christian Safo Church, and they're here to show some sort of solidarity to their leader. And I also saw the son of Kojo Safo Kantanka. That's Kojo Safo Jr., and he, of course, was the CEO of the automobile that was also established somewhere in 1969 as well. So clearly, if you just tune in, we're coming to you live from Taifa, the official residence of Dr. Apostle Bishop Kojo Safo, and we'll actually be updating you on the arrangement, and how exactly this very development pans out.
George, just before you take leave of us, he certainly is a man of the community. For the entire Domikwabia constituency and the Taifa community, he was part of the community, and so were they part of his life. How are they dealing with the loss?
I don't know if it's some sort of solidarity, but everybody is tightly. They don't want to say a word clearly. I think this is the way of respecting this very leader who has actually lived on air for 77 years. So clearly, they've been silent about it. Hits very hard. And so this is some sort of respect that they want to show to him. So they're not going to say anything. Nobody here wants to utter a word. But clearly, you can tell, they are really, really heartbroken.
George, thank you. Thank you so much. George Kpone speaking to us from Taifa there. You're watching News 360. Sports News is up next with Bulletin.
Sports segment is brought to you by Safo Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, Heart of Lions edged Dreams FC by a goal to nil in Pando thanks to a first half strike from Ebenezer Aban that lifted the Lions to a winning start. The former champions Mediama SC also made their intentions clear, securing a convincing 2-0 win away to Young Apostles with goals from Emmanuel Owusu and Paul Yeboah.
His experience, he realized there was enough space. With the space, he wiggled through two men, got past Yarrow.
Ebenezer Aban, the captain, to put them ahead in this match against Dreams. Aban, Gideos, Aban, and he makes it 1-0.
Well, let's look at the table in the Ghana Premier League. Of course, Mediama SC are currently on top with 3 points. Nations FC second, also with 3 points. BBN Gold Stars third. We have Asantehemaa after breaking a 15-year-old drought by winning against the Brekum Chelsea. They are fourth. We have Hearts of Lions, Karela United, Hearts of Folk, Samatex, 11 Wonders as follows. And at the bottom, we have Brekum Chelsea, Dreams FC, and Young Apostles starting at the bottom of the first week of the Ghana Premier League. Now let's move on to England, where Liverpool staged another dramatic late show as Mohamed Salah's stoppage time penalty maintained their flawless start to the Premier League season and broke the heart of battling Burnley. Erling Haaland scored twice after Phil Foden opened the scoring as Manchester City returned to winning ways in the Premier League by beating floundering rivals Manchester United at the Etihad Stadium.
Salah. Liverpool. Doku. Nice from Jeremy Doku.
In entertainment news tonight, a large crowd of movie lovers turned up at the Silverbird Cinemas at Accra Mall to witness the premiere of Clouds, the latest release from Rabi Bray Productions. The star-studded film, directed by Malex, explores powerful themes such as influence, loyalty, and the consequences of the desire for fame.
It was a night of glitz, glamour, and excitement as movie enthusiasts filled the Silverbird Cinema at Accra Mall for the much-anticipated premiere of Clouds, the latest production from Rabi Bray. Directed by Malex, Clouds brings together a stellar cast in a gripping story that dives into the world of influence, loyalty, and the high price of chasing fame.
If you do like say you get, then people will feel say you get. Then as the thing say you they get, and then you can't get.
The film is already generating buzz for its bold storytelling and timely themes, striking a chord with today's digital generation.
And lots of people tend to play the character that I actually played in the movie, where they are going to fake it till they make it. And everybody's just living a fake life. So I think a prime lesson to learn and see is that not all that glitters is gold. You need to be careful, especially with social media all over the place.
Fans, celebrities, and industry insiders.
That's your entertainment. Let's now bring you some international news.
The World Health Organization on Sunday said it had begun vaccinating frontline health workers and contacts of people infected with Ebola virus in the Democratic Republic of Congo's Kasai province, where an outbreak has been declared. The WHO said an initial 400 doses of the available Ebola vaccine from the country's stockpile of 2,000 doses have been delivered to Bulape, which is the outbreak's epicenter. The International Coordinating Group on Vaccine Province has approved the dispatch of some 45,000 additional Ebola vaccine doses to Congo. The outbreak, the Democratic Republic of Congo's first in 3 years, was declared in early September. The country's dense tropical forests are a natural reservoir for the Ebola virus, which causes fever, body aches, and diarrhea, and can linger in the body of survivors only to resurface years later. The latest data from the Health Ministry in Kinshasa said there were 32 suspected cases, 20 confirmed cases, and 16 deaths. WHO Program Area Manager Patrick Otim told a Geneva briefing last week that containing the outbreak is possible, but it will be challenging if we miss the window of opportunity, calling for more support for the government and other partners.
That's our package for tonight, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. GMB is up next. And the theme for tonight is traditional games. Stay tuned and enjoy.